Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So the Nigerian Super Falcons and its management have now come out to criticize, or better still warn NFF, concerning the lack of interest that they are receiving, basically in the areas of fixing friendlies, making sure that their needs are met, making sure that their preparation is going well in terms of the Nations Cup women's category coming up next year. They have that competition coming up in March. It's going to start on the 17th, and obviously, our girls are definitely the favorites for that one. I mean, everybody expects them to go on and win the title because, of course, they are the defending champions, and they are also the most successful team in this competition. They've won it 10 times, and obviously, all eyes is going to be on them to perform. But the girls are now complaining that the NFF are not really helping their matters, in terms of fixing friendlies for them and helping them prepare themselves for this important competition coming up next year. And they are citing, a number of countries who also be playing in this Nations Cup, but they are having friendlies. They have friendlies slated for them by their FAs, but it's not the same thing for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They complained that in this November international break that just passed, they could have given them, one or two friendlies for them to use it as test matches in preparation for this game, this competition coming up next year. Just to give you, some of the countries that are having test matches, friendlies here and there as they seek to prepare for the Nations Cup. Zambia are having their friendlies. Talk about South Africa, talk about Morocco, Malawi, Algeria, Ghana, Kenya. All these countries, are successfully having friendlies slated for them by their FAs. But the NFF hasn't done the same thing for the Super Falcons, and this is not the first time we've been talking about they are being neglected by the federation. You know. Um, Sometimes several months ago we also talked about that last year's end to about like this year, I think February or so, the girls had a streak of not playing any friendly matches, I think up to 3 or 4 months, and it was very weird because these girls have to be playing games. They have to be carrying them along, in terms of fixing friendlies for them, so that the team will be coming together and be playing and be blending amongst themselves. Of course, the coach is going to also use that as an opportunity to build a team, build his philosophy, build the way he wants to play. But they've not gotten this. I hope that the NFF can quickly, try and meet the needs of the girls, because obviously we all know that the expectation of the NFF is very high. Nigerians, the fans, their expectation is also high. If the girls go out now and they don't perform, they don't win the title or they don't go far, then everybody will start to blame the girls. They'll start to, some even go on social media to abuse these girls. But now that they are seeking for NFF support to actually help them prepare, they've not gotten it. We hope that they can fix this as quickly as possible to enable these girls prepare and be in the best, fitness level before these games. But quickly, just wanted to let you guys know that Coach Chelle has now reportedly submitted up to 55 names to CAF, in terms of the squad list for the African Cup of Nations this December. It was said that, CAF mandated every international coach of the countries that qualified for the competition to submit their first provisional squad list, which would carry 55 players in total. And then once that is submitted to CAF, they will now, which the deadline was 21st of November. That's like 3 days ago. So submit the 55 players on the 21st, and then CAF is going to have that in their record. And then in somewhere around the first week of December, CAF will expect them to select final 30 players from that squad that will make it into the African Cup of Nations as the players that will play for the country, for each country. So that's basically how it is. So right now, the players, 55 players have been submitted by Coach Chelle, and from the look of things, there are inclusions of a lot of players, a lot of talented youngsters, a lot of internationals that we've not really seen. We are not very familiar with. That's the reports coming out right now. Those names have been included, but also the names that we do know, the regular ones that Coach Chelle has been working with for several months now. He also included them, but this list is expected to be a list that will kind of shock people, shock Nigerians, in the aspect of the new approach that the NFF and Shell want to approach, the selection process. Of course, we talked about it. They want these players to not just be the regular ones that they do call up every time, that don't really play a lot for their clubs and are not really effective even when they get called up and they are substituted in to make an appearance. So we are expecting a list that is going to be filled with lots of additional talents that we've not seen before. But with that said, of course, there's also been a couple of reactions coming in from an ex-international this side, who goes by the name Peter Ija. He has come out now to tell Coach Chelle and the Super Eagles to forget about the World Cup, blunder, the fact that we didn't qualify for the World Cup, and just focus solely on the African Cup of Nations coming up in December. He feels that missing out of the World Cup is actually very sad and obviously very devastating for a country like Nigeria. But he also feels that this can be a motivation if they channel it well towards the African Cup of Nations. It can motivate them to go on and try to win it, or even winning it, because that's what, obviously, if they do, everybody's going to really appreciate and just take it as a consolation for not qualifying to the World Cup. In his words, he said missing next year's World Cup should be a motivating factor for Super Eagles players to go on and win the AFCON. The AFCON is another opportunity for the players to make amends, because what has gone, and there is nothing they can do about it. That's his piece of advice to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And to wrap, guys, the QPR pundit is now calling on his club side to move quickly and sign Stanley Nwabali, the Super Eagles goalkeeper. This pundit feels that they have a very serious goalkeeping issue, and that Nwabali is the person that can actually solve it for them because of his qualities, his confidence, and everything that he brings to the pitch. So this player is talking about that if QPR wants to really improve, that they need to get Stanley Nwabali. He said that the club showed interest previously a few months ago, which obviously they did, and that during that period Stanley Nwabali was almost even saying goodbye to Chippa United, but it didn't really work out at the end of the day. But this man is saying that QPR must go back and pay the money to get Stanley Nwabali if they want to sort out their goalkeeping issue and save their season this season. But it's still going to be a question of whether this is going to happen. Will it happen this January? We'll wait and see about that one. And also, one man, Paul Onuachu, keeps firing on all cylinders. He scored again over this weekend when they played out a 4-3 very, very dramatic match between Trabzonspor and Besiktas. Of course, Paul Onuachu plays for Trabzonspor, and they won that game narrowly, after a very difficult game, 4-3. Onuachu registered another goal to bring his total tally to 9 this season, and is currently the joint top scorer in the Turkish Super League highest goal scorers for this season with Eldor Shomurodov right now. Big congrats for the man. I'm sure that, he's going to continue scoring, and hopefully, even if he wins the highest goal scorer, I think it's something that we can look back and say that it's well deserved because of how he's been putting the effort. But the season is still young. I'm not sure they've played up to half of the games, But I mean, if he keeps scoring goals like this and keeps performing like this, then obviously it's going to be a great season for him at the end of this season.